This episode is brought to you by 1923 on Paramount Plus. In Taylor Sheridan's new original series 1923, the Duttons confront challenges, including the end of the First World War, America's industrialization, and the start of the Great Depression. Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford star in the new original series 1923, streaming December 18th exclusively on Paramount Plus. Head to ParamountPlus.com to try it free.
Shopify presents cool sheets from AHA to...
I suffered from the wrong kind of hot in bed, heat-induced insomnia. That was my aha moment. Bed sheets that keep you cool. Then I thought, how do I even sell bed sheets? That's when I had the idea that made it all possible. Signing up on Shopify.
This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/offer22. Shopify.com/offer22.
This tape is crystal clear. It's got the little kind of brown thing inside so that you can read the words. It says, "Attention, Algae Eaters." That's on side B. Copyright 1996. All rights reserved. CT approval. Some. On the other side, side A, it says to order additional copies of this tape, call 1-800-388-3884. It concerns me a bit that it says "Attention, Algae Eaters," but enjoy the tape.
Hello, my name is Michelle Ward.
And I'm Jim Ward.
And we want to thank you for taking a few moments to listen to this tape, to thank you for briefly entering our distinctive world, which offers hope, freedom, security, health, youth, success, and so much more. We want to invite you to raise the quality of your life on all levels.
I was at my son's batting lesson, and a gentleman came in all haggard with his 3 children, and he's looking at me, and I'm walking around checking. He goes, wow, he goes, it's the end of the day. He goes, it's Friday, it's 5 o'clock. He goes, how come you're not exhausted like the rest of us?
Within 2 days of starting the algae last fall, I noticed a significant increase in energy and stamina and found myself out in the backyard starting to rake leaves. And within a couple of days, I'd raked, it's a very large yard, so I'd raked over 60 wheelbarrows full without developing the kind of back pain I would have in the past.
And the most important thing for me, though, was I was able to stop my Zoloft for the antidepressant. I have no depression.
I'm just to the point now where I want to start participating in sports at a competitive level because I feel that's how much energy I have.
Elijah never slept through the night for the first 2 years of his life. Never. And after 10 days on Super Blue Green Algae, he began sleeping every single night, through the night.
My son has been on the honor roll, and all of a sudden now he's jumping up to the high honor roll. And so I see from a personal experience, I can see the test scores. And for my daughter, she has accelerated in her math, in her accelerated program that she's in school that the teachers are quite astonished with. And I can only attribute it to the wonderful food that they're taking of the algae.
There's been a gradual weight loss and a real definite loss and redistribution of inches around the waistline.
I had to make everybody aware of the fact that there was this ultimate superfood that was available, and if I could benefit people the way that I was feeling, I figured this is what I have to do. I need to share my story.
John, this is Brenda in Fayetteville. I just wanted to let you know again how great I feel. I can't get over this. The stiffness in my hand that I had in the morning, I couldn't open my hand up up into the day. I mean, I did a few hours when I could run hot water over it and it would open up. That's going away. I just can't believe this. And nobody believes me. But I just had to tell you, I just can't believe what's happening to me. I just feel so good, and I have so much energy. I never would have believed I could ever have felt this good again. I just wanted to let you know and say thank you.
Now, Now, we don't claim to have all the answers here, but what we do have are some of the finest distinctions from some of the most successful people we know. And you'll be hearing their personal stories on this tape very shortly. We discussed this product, this business, and our real-life feelings during a teleconference which was recorded, so you'll understand why there are some differences in sound and tone on the tape which follows. These people are from all over the country and from all walks of life. They're people just like you. Their personal testimonials are powerful. But before you meet the rest of our friends, I want to introduce you briefly to my husband, Jim, our product, a superfood called Super Blue Green Algae, and our home-based business opportunity with Celtec.
My algae story was very simple. In 3 weeks, I lost 5 inches off my midsection and gained energy that I haven't had since I was a young'un. I used to have lapses of losing my train of thought in the middle of a sentence. It was most embarrassing, to say the least. And after being on the algae a short time, that never happens to me anymore.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, we're ready to listen in on the teleconference now. Our first story comes from our friend Eve Bukovalis.
I started eating algae about 4 months ago, and I noticed I seemed to be, having more energy and staying up later hours. I think I was going on about 4 hours of sleep, and I did some more investigating and research to determine what was happening as a result of this algae. And as I found out about the algae, the fact that it was nourishing my cells and feeding me all the nutrients that I needed, I was able to go on, eating food that was empty as far as deplete of minerals and other items such as those. And I noticed also not exercising, I was still able to build some muscle tone. So I seem to be getting benefits in more areas than I ever could have imagined. And I mentioned it to some of my friends, and they seem to notice the same types of benefits.
Okay, let's hear from Dr. Dan Ream. Dr. Dan, you're an internist, cardiologist, and nutritionist. Tell us, in your opinion, why Super Blue Green Algae?
Well, over almost a half a century of my practice, I watched our society go more and more downhill to a state of tiredness that few were recognizing, Michelle. The population dragged itself out of bed in the morning, staggered to the breakfast table where it downed several cups of coffee, and with this imitation energy, they drove off to work. There they performed their jobs until about 10:30 a.m. when they adjourned for a coffee break that was so important that it was often written into union contracts. Later they had lunch that often made them sleepy due to food allergies, and so at about 2 p.m. there was a Coke break for more caffeine. At quitting time, many of these people stopped off at a local bar for the happy hour because they needed an anesthetic before they could proceed home to meet the rest of the family. After hanging out on the sofa after dinner, many would dip into recreational drugs. And did you know that for all our bluff and bluster about sex, we have less of it than any other people on earth? Studies have repeatedly shown this. We Americans are all talk. We are all curiosity about something few of us really experience. And why is this? Because it takes lots of vibrant energy to become sexually aroused, and many Americans just haven't got that anymore. As I witnessed this decline, I put my patients on handfuls of supplementary vitamins and minerals and took them myself. There was some improvement, to be sure, but it was woefully short. Nearly everyone confessed that they still wanted an afternoon nap. And when they took up exercising, they all had sore muscles the following days. In discussions with concerned and nutritionally oriented physicians like myself, we debated over the years whether this was all the energy the human body could deliver. Usually we decided we could expect more energy, and so we labeled a large part of the American population as being vertically ill, unquote, meaning they weren't well, but they weren't sick enough to be put to bed yet. We read the words of the ancient Greek physician Hippocrates, who asserted again and again, food is your best medicine. We shook our heads over this, and we were always on fresh, organic foods when possible, but we saw few miracle cures, you may be sure. Frankly, we wondered if we would ever find the answer.
Okay, Dr. Dan, that's really very interesting. And Steve, I want to go back to you, too. I know that you really believe in super blue-green algae, as you said in the opening remarks, but you also believe in it to enhance athletic performance, don't you?
That's right. As a matter of fact, today could be a very good example. I was up this morning. I was doing, ab exercises for about an hour, went rollerblading for 2 hours, and went to the gym for 2 hours. So the amount of energy I have is just, it's incredible. I've always been very athletic, but there's no comparison between how I felt before and how I believe the algae gives me stamina and endurance. And I'm just to the point now where I want to start participating in sports at a competitive level because I feel that's how much energy I have.
Okay, Kate Collier, having worked in the health field now for over 20 years, what would you say is your compelling reason for sharing our algae with people that you meet or know?
Thank you, Michelle. I'd love to share. I am the mother of 7 children, and I've been a nurse for 20 years. And I've seen a great many changes in both professions, if you will. What I used to think was good nutrition in 1975 is very different from what I know good nutrition is today. I first learned about super blue-green algae in 1990 when I began my own personal quest for more information about better nutrition through live foods via Ann Wigmore and wheatgrass juice and sprouts and Victor Kolbinskis, who, as you all know, is one of Celtech's top double diamonds. I learned with gradual awareness and education in holistic health and holistic nursing that we all need to take personal responsibility for our own health. And with Celtech Super Blue-Green Algae, we can cleanse, we can rebuild, we can reverse degenerative diseases, we can prevent degenerative disease. The algae is totally organic, live food, and we really are what we eat. So if we remember, live food, live body, dead food, dead body, and that's what cooked foods really are. I tell everyone we all have every reason to make super blue-green algae our daily food, our daily food for energy, for life. It's very important that I share this with people.
Wow, that's really inspiring, Kay. Thank you. Now on to Dave Thurmer. Dave, you've been so successful in business for so many years. Tell me, why network marketing and why Celtech over anything else?
Thanks, Michelle. It's a pleasure to be here. Golly, I have to tell my whole life story in 3 or 4 minutes. This is going to be amazing. Well, I started out as a pharmacist and quickly found out that this wasn't for me for 2 reasons, I guess. First off, it became a job. I was working 60 to 80 hours a week, and I lost the main thing that I wanted in life, and that was freedom. Next, I think I lost I don't believe in drugs anymore. I didn't then, and I didn't know about it, the reason why. And so the only thing I've ever taken in my whole life basically is aspirin, and my wife also. Well, so I quit pharmacy, I went into real estate and tried that out for a while, and then came upon multi-level marketing and network marketing. I realized that this is the way of the future. Anybody that wants to work for themselves, that wants to be free, it's a time where people have to take responsibility for themselves. They can't stand around and let the government take care of them. They're seeing where big business is downsizing, and that means laying them off. So if people want to really survive into the 21st century, they need to take care of themselves. They need to do it themselves, and that means home-based businesses. Through trial and terror and everything else, I went through a lot of multi-level companies looking for the right one, getting in on the ground floor and things like this. Well, those companies that just start out and are new, they usually bite the dust very quickly or get put out of business. But along the way, I made a lot of money and I lost a lot of money too. But the thing I kept looking for was nutrition. I could never find any products that I really felt comfortable with. So along the way, I did, about 4 or 5 years ago, come along with spirulina. But one of the things I look for in network marketing companies and multi-level companies is 3 things. You have to have the right product, the right company, and a good compensation plan. The spirulina was a good product. There was a good company, but the compensation plan wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to make the living I wanted and the living Marcia demanded. Anyway, about 2 months ago, somebody finally gave me Super Glue Green Algae and the Celtec company, and we have been going to the stars. We made executive in 18 days, and we have 3 or 4 executives that will break this month. That's the best I've ever done in any company that quickly. And all you have to do in this company is make executive, and from then on, you just help other people make executive. As you've heard, the product is phenomenal. Celtec has been in business almost 13 years, and it's like family. I've never had the feeling. I've never met Daryl and Marta Coleman, but they feel like family. I feel like I've known them all my life. If you need help in this, there's always somebody around to help you. There's always somebody to give you any encouragement you need, always saying you can, you can, you can. And pretty soon, you'll be saying, I can, I will, I will. And then probably the most important words you can say is I am. If everybody says I am 20 times a day out loud, it's amazing what will happen to them. So Celtec is the company for me. That's all. It will be that way forever.
Wow, that's pretty passionate, Dave. Thanks a lot. Now, Dr. Sampson, on to you. I know that you're really excited about Super Blue Green Algae and co-creating health with your patients. Will you share with us a little bit more about this?
Sure. I'm a board-certified psychiatrist with extensive training in healing modalities from the East, including Oriental medicine and yoga. My recognition of the potential the algae holds in creating health began with my own algae experience. Within 2 days of starting the algae last fall, I noticed significant increase in energy and stamina and found myself out in the backyard starting to rake leaves. And within a couple of days, I'd raked, it's a very large yard, so I'd raked over 60 wheelbarrows full without developing the kind of back pain I would have in the past. In fact, in previous years, I always had someone else take care of the leaves. So this was quite a dramatic shift for myself, but just the beginning. My partner had a little different response. She intuitively noted from the beginning that there was something very special about the algae, but she had her benefits develop gradually over a couple of months, but by the end had noted improvements in all aspects of her health. In recent years, my work has focused on assisting people in conditions that are often puzzling to diagnose and difficult to treat. One of the difficulties is that these people are frequently so sensitive to chemicals that medications, which are one of the main treatments of modern medicine, just make them sick. In my experience, what works best are approaches from the inside out, putting people back in charge of their bodies and their health. Super blue-green algae has been especially beneficial in several respects. It's very high in chlorophyll, minerals, and amino acids. People have often used restricted diets in attempts to get well. Unfortunately, the result is often they're left in a malnourished state. The rich mixture of nutrients in super blue-green algae allows the individual's body to select those that are missing. I found that after people start eating the algae, they often report benefits affecting not only their body, but also their mind, emotions, and spirit. Benefits that have been noted have included increased stamina, decreased allergic reactions, decreased irritability, decreased mood swings, clearer thinking, and overall feeling more optimistic and hopeful. It seems to also enhance the effectiveness of alternative treatments such as chiropractic and acupuncture. I went into medicine to help people, and it's been most gratifying and exciting to watch as others step up to new levels of health.
That's really impressive. Thanks a lot, Dr. Sampson. I'd like to move on now to Dr. Tom Bashara up there in the Northeast. Dr. Bashara, what's been your experience with super blue-green algae in your dental practice?
Oh, hi, Michelle. I tell you, it's been terrific. I've been eating the algae now for 3 months pretty consistently, and personally have seen some very dramatic effects. My energy levels are increased. My stamina is very steady. My caffeine intake has dropped dramatically. I was consistently drinking about 4 cups a day, and now if I have one throughout the whole day, that's a lot. I found that the Super Blue Green program, it's a good foundational nutrition program, and it's affordable, it's easy to do, and you get great consistent results with it. One of the concerns that I had, I mean, as a healthcare provider, I was very skeptical about network marketing initially. I had heard some bad things about it, and I really had to look into it. And what I found is that the industry of network marketing actually is blossoming. There is a paradigm shift happening. Half of my group at this time is health professionals. And one thing about health professionals, one of their main concerns is credibility. And really, we would never do anything that would risk that credibility. So I really evaluated both the products and Celtag as a company before diving in. What it has to offer the health professional, are several things. One, because it is network marketing, it has the benefit of creating a residual income, which residual income is like a royalty income. It's unlike earned income. And residual income is very powerful. It lets you leverage both your time and your income.
And now, please fast forward and turn to side B.
This episode is brought to you by Smart Food, the sweet, salty snack you need this holiday season. Air Pop Popcorn, tossed in delicious white cheddar cheese, or mixed with sweet caramel and cheddar. It's the perfect snack for your smart holiday party. Shop now at snacks.com.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide with deals like our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month and no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A13 5G for $149, all on a reliable 5G network. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless. Available at Walmart and Walmart.com. 1 month equals 30 days. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
The other thing is that I'm having a lot of fun with the business. I was introduced to it by some very dear friends, and we are having a lot of fun building a business. We're seeing our health improve, and it is just wonderful. It takes time to develop, and we're committed to that. It takes, a few hours a day consistently over a period of a year or so to really get things rolling. But once it rolls, it's like generating your own cash machine where on a monthly basis you're developing a check. And it comes in after a while regardless of your efforts, and that is incredible. And what that money allows you to do is to pursue the things in life that you're passionate about. Parent, I have 2 young children, and one of my goals is to be able to spend as much time with them as they head into adolescence and those very challenging times in their lives. So each person has a particular ambition or dream that they're pursuing, and the support in this system is just incredible. The other thing that I really am enjoying is that this business is open for anyone. You don't need to be a healthcare provider. You can be anybody. Because this is a home-based business, you can do it on a part-time level and create a couple $1,000s a month income. Or if you want to pursue it on a full-time basis, you can make a couple $1,000s a day. So it really is up to you at what level that you want to play. But I would encourage anyone that's looking at the business or at the products. The company offers a risk-free trial. Just try it, and you really will like it. Thanks, Michelle.
Right, Dr. Bashara. Going back for a minute to Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan, will you please share with us what happened to you physically when you ate Super Blue Green Algae?
Oh, gladly. Michelle, one October afternoon, my Super Blue Green Algae arrived by UPS, and at 3 o'clock I downed several grams of this dark blue-green material and waited for something to pop. and inside an hour, something did pop. I began to notice I was gliding from room to room with a flow of energy that was entirely new to my 70-year-old body. Better still, my emotions were almost serene, and I was suddenly thinking more clearly. Several big issues I had been pondering about recently in my life passed in review before me, and now I was having new insights. I was getting closer to some answers, and what a wonderful feeling that was. In the ensuing 12-hour period, I accomplished a great deal, and at 4 a.m., I sank thankfully into my bed for a well-deserved deep sleep. And lo, at 8:30 that morning, I bounced out of bed because suddenly that bed seemed to be the last place in the world I wanted to be. That was a totally new sensation.
It's beautiful. And how about you, Maureen Walker in New Jersey? Tell us about your experiences with Super Blue Green Algae.
Hi, Michelle. Hi, everyone. And pleasure to be with everyone tonight. I have found that, like Tom, I have found the need, which to me I could down 1 pot of coffee a day, and that was the initial excitement in my life was, wow, I can get by with barely a half a cup now, and I just found that like so exciting that I'm going, and I'm very involved with being a Board of Education member and being involved with, I have 2 children, and I'm a homeroom mom, I'm a cheerleading coach, and I'm always on the go with doing something with driving my children somewhere. And I find now that I must be overflowing with energy because I have people coming up to me at the end of the day. I had a funny experience just at this past Friday that I was at my son's batting lesson, and a gentleman came in all haggard with his 3 children, and he's looking at me, and I'm walking around checking. He goes, wow, he goes, it's the end of the day. He goes, it's Friday, it's 5 o'clock. He goes, how come you're not exhausted like the rest of us? And I just couldn't help but telling him about why I feel so good. And I happened to have a BG Bite in my pocketbook, and I said, here, try this, and maybe you'll feel the same way that I do. And I couldn't believe it. Within a few hours, he called and left a message on my voicemail from his car phone. He was so excited, and he couldn't explain it, but he said, where do I get more of this green stuff? And I just find that in my everyday, and I just connect with people because they come up to me, and it's such an easy product to sell because you're not really selling it. People see how good you feel, how good you look, that they want to know, hey, I want a part of this. Let me in on the secrets. And at my Board of Ed meetings, we start at 6 o'clock in the evening, and we go into closed session around 10 o'clock, and at that time, that's a private meeting, and the cookies are brought out, and the potato chips, and the pretzels, and everybody's like, oh, how are we going to make it through the rest of this meeting? I haven't had dinner. I've worked all day. I'm putting in this volunteer evening time. And they're looking at me, and they said, well, what are you doing? And I'm pulling out my BG Bites, and they're like, you're not going to have coffee now? You don't need any of that? And I said, no, I don't find the desire. And that, to me, is the most wonderful feeling. And I just can't say enough about it, and I just think it's just so easy for people to see how good you feel to want to be a part of it.
Yes, Maureen, here's another question I have. If you were to pick something that to you is a great benefit of doing this business, what would it be?
I have found for myself and for my husband, Doug, the camaraderie of kinship among the people in the business. I feel I don't know all the faces, but I know the passion and the heartfelt kinship that I feel with everyone. And our group here in New Jersey is just growing in leaps and bounds. And it's, instead of being a company in these big companies that's all for one and one for themselves, we're all in it together. It's, you benefit, I benefit, we benefit. And there's always someone there that you can talk with and connect with and hey, I'm having a little tough time here, and you always feel that someone's there ready to help pump you back up again, and the camaraderie is just unbelievable.
Yes, it is. I found the same thing. Eve, back to you for a second. You left a 15-year career in the computer engineering field to work cell tech full-time. Why did you do that?
Basically, I had taken the algae for a couple of months, and then it just clicked. I mean, there was a major transformation in my life. I had, I had some experiences that as Dr. Sampson was saying, at an emotional, a physical, a mental, and a spiritual level, and it's just like, everything just opened up. I had a new level of awareness almost, and I just literally had to get the word out to everybody. I had to make everybody aware of the fact that there was this ultimate superfood that was available, and if I could benefit people the way that I was feeling, I figured this is what I have to do. I need to share my story, and basically it just evolved in that way. And I was still working in the corporate field, and it just got to a point where I said, I can't, it's just not consistent. I felt that there was greater value in helping people, just knowing how great it was to experience the algae. People telling me, a friend of mine, Ruth, telling me that her husband's vacuuming the house at 11 o'clock at night after taking some algae. I mean, boy, that was incredible, It was so much fun to hear that.
Don't let that word get around.
I'd like to interject something here, too, being that, there's a lot of women out there that are looking for something. A home-based business is really perfect for women, for men, too, but for women. Women seem to have certain skills that come so naturally to them, and people might call them networking skills, the way that they're able to communicate in a natural way. And then there's something else. Most or many women that I know have a very strong desire to serve humankind. And with the transformations that are taking place in people that eat super blue-green algae, it's so gratifying, I know, for me and for all those who share super blue-green algae to see these transformations. And so I find this to be a perfect vehicle, the algae and Celtec, for women who have this great desire to serve.
Absolutely.
Yes, and there's a lot of other benefits, too. For women that want to stay at home with their children, or for men, too, or people that just want to stay at home just because they want to, or women, they can be paid on an equal par with men in this kind of business when it doesn't always happen out in the workplace.
Or greater.
Right, and there's no ceiling, as we've said, on the amount of money you can earn. And regarding time freedom, before long, you get to the point where you can take time off, and your income continues to come in and continues to grow. And you don't have to make a big investment to get started. It's very small. You can do this full or part-time. It's so flexible, you can actually mold this to suit you. And that's what I find so wonderful, especially regarding women getting into business.
Michelle, can I make a comment at this point?
Mm-hmm.
It was very important for me to do my homework as far as the company and the researching what the company as far as Celtec was all about, because I don't, very good in the area of finance and investment, and I just wanted to make sure that I was making a financially wise move. And basically, as it was stated before, it's very affordable. It's minimum to get involved. And once I learned about the compassion and the integrity of the company, I realized that Celtec was pretty much in a class by itself, and that really made all the difference in the world to me. To know that there's an ethical way of doing business, you get rewarded, and, I'm looking at financial freedom by the time I hit 35 years old. So,
amen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Happy.
Okay. Kay, I just heard your voice. Would you mind sharing with us your personal experiences with super blue-green algae?
Oh, I'd be delighted to. The first thing that I noticed almost immediately was that I was sleeping sounder every evening, and I felt better rested in the morning, and I awoke much clearer and really happier to get up. I don't know that I bounded out of the bed, but I was happy to get up. I found that my nails were stronger. All my life I had been plagued with splitting nails, which isn't too much of a problem to some people, but it was for me. And my hair has seemed fuller. It was really a nice surprise. There's been a gradual weight loss and a real definite loss and redistribution of inches around the waistline. So that was a nice surprise, too. I have actually realized I'm even more relaxed, and I'm pretty low-key most of the time, but I've been a little bit more patient about a lot of things, and clearer thinking, more organized, and oftentimes more articulate about things. And I don't take my elevator anymore. I walk up and down the 4 flights unless I've got loads and loads of bags of Celtec to carry up and down. But I'm doing real well on that. And the most important thing for me, though, was I was able to stop my Zoloft for the antidepressant. I have no depression.
Good for you.
I'm delighted about what's going on in my life now. So that, to me, was the real star in the crown.
That's really important. Thank you for sharing that, Kate.
You're welcome, Michelle.
There's one other issue I want to cover, and that's about children. Maureen, you're a mother. Have you noticed anything different in your 12-year-old son since he's been eating Super Blue Green Algae?
My son, he is the first one that awakes in our family in the morning, and he comes down singing. He's enthusiastic. He's up by 5:30, 5:45. He lays out everybody else's algae in the family. When you get down the stairs, that's all he wants to talk about, his business ideas. My son, 12 years old, so entrepreneurial, and he just exudes with all his energy about what business idea he has for the day. And my husband and I look at one another and we say, my God, the kid is just abounding with happiness and excitement. And I have slowly brought my 9-year-old daughter also in, and she just loves to take the liquid omega. And she just seems to I see the clear thinking with my children, and I just feel, wow. I said, my son's 12 years old, and the ideas he's coming forth with are that of a 22-year-old, and it's just so exciting. I can't say enough about it. And, Michelle, what about your 2.5-year-old son, Elijah?
Yeah, he's done tremendously well on this algae. You know, like all mothers, you want the very best for your children, and our food is now way less than perfect. And so I wanted his diet to be completed somehow. I call it filling in the blanks. I had a choice. I could give him man-made vitamins, which are very difficult to assimilate, or I could give him a whole food that would be easy for him to absorb. And I liked everything about Super Blue Green Algae, the fact that it grows wild in an unpolluted and pristine lake in Oregon, and it's at the bottom of the food chain, so I knew that the food would be very pure. Well, Elijah never slept through the night for the first 2 years of his life. Never. And after 10 days on Super Blue Green Algae, he began sleeping every single night through the night from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. He also was born prematurely, and he was always a little small for his age. But since he's been on the algae, he has grown just leaps and bounds. And here's another thing I've noticed that is astounding to me. When he gets cranky or whiny or even worse, just by us putting an omega capsule or tablet in his mouth, immediately he evens out into a serene and balanced state. It is the most amazing thing to witness. And there's one more thing I'd like to say here since we're talking about children. I love this company, Celtec, because 10% of all of the algae harvest is donated to children in need around the world, children in need of better nutrition. We call that the 10% solution. For example, in Nicaragua, 1 gram of algae, that's 2 capsules, have been given to children in one particular school, and their test scores have gone from 64% in 1991 all the way up to 85% by 1993. And the only change that has happened in their lives is the addition of Super Blue Green Algae. So imagine what this algae could do for our children here in school.
Michelle, if I can say one more thing, I have noticed what you said about the scores. My son has been on the honor roll, and all of a sudden now he's jumping up to the high honor roll. And so I see from a personal experience, I can see the test scores. And for my daughter, she has accelerated in her math, in her accelerated program that she's in school that the teachers are quite astonished with. And I can only attribute it to the wonderful food that they're taking of the algae.
Okay, so you've heard some pretty significant stories just now, but what makes Super Blue Green Algae so unique? First, there is only one Super Blue Green Algae. The technical name for this particular strain of edible blue-green algae is Aphanizomenon flosaque. It is not spirulina. There is only one known lake with such harvestable abundant amounts of this particular algae on the planet. There is only one harvesting method used, such as the one patented and employed by Celtec. And the freeze-drying process used by Celtec renders the algae as potent as live food. This algae contains what is probably the largest array of naturally occurring minerals, trace minerals, and elements. It is a whole food, not a part or component of food, like laboratory-produced vitamins and supplements. Laboratory-produced vitamins and supplements are components of food, and it is a known fact that they are only anywhere from 5% to 13% assimilated by the human body. Our food, our superfood, super blue-green algae, is a whole food, and it is 97% assimilable by the human body. There is only one true source of super blue-green algae, and that source is Celtec and its distributors and wholesale consumers. And best of all, a 60-day money-back guarantee is extended to all distributors and wholesale consumers. There is no inventory of products to keep, no accounting, no paycheck disbursement. There's no paperwork. Celtec does all of that. We have first-class support from Celtec, ranging all the way from on-demand earnings reports to videos, books, and brochures, to international teleconferences and Super Blue-Green TV via satellite. Everything is geared to make it as easy as possible for you to be successful. Now, if you're excited by the prospects of what you have heard on this tape, then now is the single best time to order your Sure Start Kit. The only way for you to properly evaluate what this algae can do for you is to try it. Remember, when you become a wholesale consumer, these products are guaranteed for 60 days. I'm suggesting you give yourself what is perhaps one of the greatest gifts you will ever receive. So stop searching. Call the person who gave you this tape today, and Super Blue-Green Algae could be in your hands tomorrow.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.